Alright, so welcome to this amazing course on Linux shell scripting, and in this one video we will going to cover all the topics from basic to advanced level. So even if you are beginners and don't know much about the shell scripting, this course is for you. You can also check the list of all the topics covered in this video in the description box with the timelines, so you can jump on a specific topic as well. So without wasting time, let's get started. Okay, so let's start our journey of learning the shell scripting. But first understand some basic terms related to shell scripting. So what is a Linux shell? Okay, so a small definition is here. A shell provides an environment to a user to execute commands and interact with kernel. So in short, we can say shell is like a user interface. I mean, the practical example is a command line interface or a terminal where you execute some command or queries to perform some task. Okay, and on the right side also you can see the structure of a server. Here we are talking about the Linux operating systems and the servers related to it. Okay, so for example, this is a Linux server, right? So in the core, so we can see it's a hardware, right? So every server consisted of the hardware like the CPU, RAM, memory, and so on. And above that there is a kernel, you can see. So kernel is the part of the Linux operating system whose primary responsibility is to communicate with the hardwares. Although for the user, a normal user like us, in order to communicate or perform some task or some queries on the hardware, we need a way, right? A user interface. So that we can call it a shell. So shell is like a this kind of terminal where we can execute some queries here and perform some actions. Okay, and yeah, of course, on the above of that, we on the Linux operating systems also, or Linux servers, we install a lot of packages and the softwares on it and do a lot of stuffs. Now we understood what is a shell. However, there are different types of shells. Few of them I have listed here, although there could be more, but the most common shell type is bash. And sometimes that is the reason, sometimes we call it a bash scripting rather than the shell scripting. So it is kind of a same, because bash is a type of a shell. So we can call it a shell scripting or a bash scripting as well. And bash is the most common shell type. Okay, so we will be focusing on the bash type, although I have just listed for your information that a single Linux operating system supports multiple shell type, and there will be one default shell which you will be going to use for your scripting. For example, if you have the MacBook and you have the terminal which is also based on the Linux, so you will notice that Z shell is the default shell. However, you can also still use the bash shell type in your Mac OS. Okay, but we will be focusing on again the Linux operating system here. Okay, let's now see what is my shell type, because I have mentioned that in a single Linux operating system, it supports multiple shell types, right? So what is my current shell type, or we should say what is my default shell type? So there is a way you can just execute this command echo dollar and zero. So it will give you the name of your default shell. So this is my Linux environment and Linux terminal, and I am using the Red Hat operating system or distribution. Okay, so you can use any operating system or distribution of your own choice, maybe the Ubuntu or Fedora, CentOS, it really doesn't matter. And I am using this Linux environment in my virtualization, I mean like on virtual machine. Let's check what is my default shell. So simple, you have to do echo and dollar and zero, that's it, and you will see the name of your default shell type. Okay, so which is bash. So for example, if I want to check what other types of shells are available in my operating system, you can simply execute cat command and etc, and under that there's shells. So you can see there is a shell or there is a bash. Okay, so both are available, although when you do the echo dollar zero, it gives you the default shell type of your operating system, which is the bash. So we are good to go from here. apart from this, I want to show you something. For example, I'm using the Mac OS. So here's my default terminal of MacBook. Okay. And if I execute the same command here, echo and $0, so you can see the default shell, of this terminal is Z shell. Although, let's also check what other types of shells are available in the Mac OS. So you can see different other types of shells are also present here, including the bash. Okay, so as you can see, like the default shell is Z shell, right? If I need to change it to the bash, I can just simply type the bash. Okay, and you can see my terminal or my shell type is changed to the bash, right? And if I do now the echo $0, so you will see my default the current shell type changed to the bash. Let's quickly understand what exactly a shell scripting is. Shell script consists of a set of commands to perform a task. For example, on a Linux server, you want to perform a task which consists of maybe one or more or multiple commands, right? So you can put together all those commands in a single file, make it executable and run it whenever you want. So you don't need to repeat all those steps and all those commands, right, again and again. And all the commands executes sequentially. So that when we write the multiple commands in our shell script file, so it will be executed sequentially from up to down. Okay. We can perform several tasks using the shell scripting, like the file manipulation, program execution, user interaction, and we can automate our task as well using the cron jobs and scheduling, so that you don't need to be present on the physical server to execute those commands, right? So it will be executed automatically on a given time or date. So now we will start working practically by creating our first basic script on Linux operating system, and that script will consist of only these 2 lines. Okay, we will understand the functionality of these 2 lines, but first let's create our script. Okay, this is my terminal and currently I am inside the root and script folder. So I have created a separate folder, script folder, and in this folder, as you can see ls, there is no file present, and we will going to practice and create so many scripts inside this folder. Okay, and I have currently logged in as a root user, but there is no limitation. You can use and follow the same process as a normal user as well. Okay, so let's create our first basic script. Okay, for that we will use the vi command, and we will give the name of the script as 01 underscore basic.sh. Okay, why 01? Because we will be creating so many scripts, so we can create all these scripts in sequence and with the topic. Okay, so we are starting with the first script, so it is like the 01. Okay, that's it. So we are inside the editor. Okay, in order to edit something, you have to press first I in order to get into the insert mode. Okay, now you can type anything. Okay, so first line of your script will be this bin bash. Okay, and after that there is a echo, and you can type anything like hey buddy. Okay, that's it. Once you have done editing your file, you have to press escape key in order to come out of the insert mode. Okay, after that you need to click shift plus insert WQ for quit and save. Okay, that's it. And as soon as I hit enter, and I can check with the ls command if my script has been created or not. So yeah, here it is. I can read also to verify using the cat command and 01, and I can use tab command to autofill like this. Hit enter, and we can see our 2 lines are already present here. Now let's understand quickly like what is the scope and the use of the lines. So first line was like this, okay, which we call it a shebang line. Shebang. What is the meaning of shebang? Is like the shell and bang. Okay, so like from that, whenever we run our script, okay, we tell our operating system to use which type of interpreter. Okay, so for example, when we run on our operating system this script, right? So we are telling operating system to use the bash shell type to execute my script, because we have seen in our previous section as well, for example, in my local terminal, okay, Z shell was the default shell type, right? But there, if I need to run this script, so I need to tell the operating system to use the bash shell type to execute my shell scripting. So this is the only fundamental, okay? And we already covered that how to check your default or the current shell type, okay? So you can use that as well. Okay, for example, you can use the bin sh as well shell also. Although I want to add one more thing, this is not mandatory. Even if you don't use it, your file will be, or your shell script will be executed properly. However, it is recommended that you should use it, okay? And the second line was echo hello world. So it was used to sending outputs towards terminal. So because echo command is used to print something on the terminal, because even if you simply use echo or type anything, for example hello, so it will print something on your terminal. So echo command is used to print something, right? Now we have created the shell script already, but how to run it? Okay, so there are two ways. Okay, let me first show you the easiest way. And to execute this script, you just need to use bash and the name of your script. So for example, bash and your script name. And as soon as you hit enter, you will see the hey buddy printed on your terminal. However, there is one more way, which is the default way actually. So what we need to do, make sure script has the execute permission RWX. Okay, so what is the meaning of the RWX? So in order to check the permission, we need to do the ls, lt or ltr, anything. So with the file name, you can see some more details about this file. For example, the permissions here, and the owner of this file and the group owner of this file, right? So for example, you can see the root user created this file. So root user is the owner. And although let's focus on the permissions. So for this file, what are the permission it is having? So for example, there are three groups. The first group is here, RWX, second RWX, and RWX. Okay, so for user, the current user, it is only having RW, means the read write permission. It is not having the execute permission. So what we can do, we can use a command chmod. Although if you feel it is more more complicated, you can simply go with this option and skip the later part. Okay, it's completely up to you. In order to give the executable permission, you need to use a plus, or maybe u means for user, plus x, because we are adding the executable permission and the name of the file, for example 01. That's it. And if I do now the lsltr, so you can see the change in the color as well. Okay, you will see RWX, so means it is now having the executable permission. To run the script as an executable file, we just need to do the dot / and our name of the file, for example 01. That's it. And as soon as I hit enter, you will see it is hey buddy is printed on the terminal. Okay, so it is completely working fine. Okay, so /y/, because dot means the present directory, and inside the present directory there is a file named this. If you, for example, if you are present on the another folder or location, for example, let's see, I have changed the location here, /root, okay, script, and then the file, the name of the file, for example this, right? And as soon as you hit enter, you will see the content the printed on your terminal. So this is the another way if you want to run your script from the another folder. Or maybe you can use like the bash, and again the path of your file is script and 01 like this. And as soon as you hit enter, you will, okay. And what is the difference between these two ways, right? For example, see, for this way you have made it executable, right? And you are running directly, okay? And from the shebang line, it is telling the operating system to use the bash shell type to run this script. But in the second way, we are using the bash shell already to use this script. So kind of are two different ways to execute our script. So I have mentioned all the other ways as well, run using the .script.sh or this path, or using the bash script.sh. Let's see what are comments and how to use comments in our shell script. The main purpose of the comments is to provide the more information about our code or the commands in our shell script or our programs. We can use comments by two ways. First way is using a single line comment. If your comment or description is short, so you can use like hash and after that your comment. Or maybe if you want to describe more about your code, you can also use the multi-line comment. We will create another file v02_comments.sh. Okay, one more thing I want to cover here regarding the .sh extension. Okay, so .sh extension represents our shell script in our Linux operating system. Okay, however, it is still not compulsory, right? If you even don't use the .sh, you can run your script. However, you should use the .sh extension. Why? In order to differentiate your shell script from other files. For example, within a folder, if you have so many files, different types of files, folder, etc., right? It is easy to recognize a script type of file using the .sh extension. Okay, so this is our second script. Try it. Okay, again I for insert, then our shebang line, and for the single line comment just give the hash, and then this is a single line comment like this, and for example echo hello. Okay, and maybe you can use the multi-line comments. For the multi-line comments you just need to use this sign, and after that you can give any word like com. Okay, and after that you can start typing like this is a multi-line comment. Okay, when you are finished you can just use com, and you can here see the difference by using the color combination being used by the terminal. Okay, for example, this comment is present in the blue color. Okay, so let me save it. Escape key, shift colon, WQ to quit and save. And our second script are here. I will use the shortcut to run it, bash 02 tab to autofill, and as soon as I hit enter, you will see it only print hello. And if we read this script, you can see there are so many lines, although it just printed the hello, because whenever you write the comments in your script or in your any program file, it will be ignored by the interpreter or the compiler. Okay, so it will not be printed. It is just for the additional information about your code. So what are variables and how to use them in our script? Okay, so variables are like a container in our script or our programs which is used to store a value. Okay, so once we have created a variable and store a value like a container, right? So we can use that variable again and again or multiple times within our script, right? And we can also modify and change the value of that particular variable. Okay, and you can see the syntax how to define the variables. For example, first you have to give the variable name equal to, and after that you can provide the value. Let's see directly in our terminal. For this we will make another script vi03 var demo.sh. So variable demo.sh. Okay, then again I for insert. Okay, shebang line, and I have also added a comment. For example, I want to store the name of someone, like for example of any user, right? So we can create the variable with name like this and equal to, if we are inserting or storing a string value, right? So we need to use the double quotes like this, and we can use like Prashant, for example, name equal to Prashant. Okay, I need to store the age of a person, for example, age equal to like this, let's say 30. So in this case, when you are storing the value like a numeric value, you don't have to give the quotation marks here, and you can also store some decimal values, for example 30.2 or 30.5. So this is how we have defined a variable. Okay, so if I simply save it and run it, bash 03, it will not do anything because we have just created a variable and store some values, right? Okay, let me edit it again. For example, we can use these variable and the values inside it in our printing the message as well. Echo my name is. Now either I can directly give Prashant or I can use this variable name here. But what we need to take care of, we need to define $sign and after that name. Okay, so you can see the change in the color combination as well because we are targeting this variable name here. Okay, my name is name and age is, again we need to use this variable, so we can simply give $ and age like this. And let me save it and again run it, bash 03 var demo. So you will see my name is Prashant and age is 30. And as I mentioned that we can also change the value of our variables as well. For example, if I have put it name equal to Prashant here, right? Now I want to change the value from here. For example, if I give name equal to another name, for example, Paul, right? And again, if I print it like new name is $name, or there is one more way to use it is like $ and curly braces and inside it the name of the variable. This is also another way. Save it and run it, bash 03. Okay, so you can see new name is Paul. Let me cover one more use case of using the variable, which is used to store the output of the Linux commands. Okay, what I mean, let me show you. So what we were doing so far, see, we have created two variables like here, right? And we have stored some values, okay, which is like a static value, which could be any random values, right? Okay, so for example, on the Linux terminal, how do you check what is the host name of your server? So you can simply use hostname command, right? And when you execute the hostname command, it gives you some output, right, which is the Red Hat 01. So the host name of this server is Red Hat 01. Okay, so this action I am performing outside of our script. Okay, now just assume that I need to perform this same action within our script. Then how we can do it? For example, inside our script, we need to get the value of the host name and print it. Okay, so we can do that also. So you can see the syntax as well. For example, $ round brackets, and you can give any commands here. Okay, let's try it. 03 var demo. Okay, let's try something here. Okay, so for example, for the host name, what we can do, create another variable like host name, let's say, and in this variable I need to store the value from the output of the host name command. So what I can do, simply $ and round brackets like this, and inside it we can provide the Linux command like this, host name. So what I'm saying, execute the host name command on this server, get the output of that and store in the host name variable. Okay, and if I print it using this, name of the server is $host name. So simple. Okay, let me execute it and show you the result. Bash 03. Okay, so you can see the name of the server is Red Hat 01. Okay, for example, if you want to print the path or the location of the present directory, you can use simply pwd. This is our variable name, right? And I need to store the output of command $ round bracket, and I will use pwd command. Okay, I need to store the output of pwd command here, and we can simply print it like we are in path $pwd like this, and I will just save it, run, and you can see we are in path, root and script. Okay, so pwd, the output of pwd is root script like this. So let's see how to define a constant variable, because in our previous example we have seen that once we define the variables we can easily modify it. If we do not want to change the value of our variable, we can use the read only in front of that. Okay, so it is very simple. Let's try it. So we can just modify and see it in the same thing. I have first provided the name equal to Prashant, right? So if I simply provide the read only in front of a variable name, right? And after this, if on the any level, if we try to modify this variable, you will get an error. Okay, let's try to run this now. Bash 03. Okay, now you can see my name is Prashant in age, and when we try to change it, so you will see this kind of a error or warning that this is a read only variable and I can't change it. So still on the next line it shows my new name is still Prashant. So it was not able to, we were not able to change our variable name. Let's talk about what are arrays and how to use them in shell scripting and what are their benefit. Okay, let's directly go to our terminal and first create our separate file 04 and arrays.sh. Okay, and I have given the shebang line and a comment. So suppose you have to store the name of multiple user, let's say 5 user, 10 users and so on. So how you will do it, right? I mean, you can use the variables as well, but it is not convenient to define or use so many variables within our script. For example, you have 10 username, so it's like you can either do like var1, var2, var3 like this, right? But we don't need to use the multiple variables. For those cases we can use arrays. So here you can see the syntax. So it is very simple. Okay, so like the variables, you just need to give the name of the array first. For example, my array equal to, and then within the parenthesis or the round brackets, you can provide the multiple values like this, as you can see on the screen. And one more thing you will notice, all the values are space separated. Okay, and different types of values also you can provide. For example, the numeric values, string values, and if your value having the multiple words like this, hey man, so you have to cover it with the quotations. Try to define the array. So my array like this, you can choose any name, round brackets, and you can now provide the values here. For example, 1, 10.5, I am giving the decimal numbers. Raju, I'm just providing the name, and if I have the multiple words, I can give like this, hey buddy, and so on. Okay, and just be noted that all the values are space separated. Okay, so we have defined our array and the multiple values, or store the multiple values in this array, but how to retrieve or how to use these values? For example, I need to print Raju on the terminal. So how will I print this? So to retrieve a specific value from an array, you have to do like this. Okay, suppose I need to print the Raju. So what I can do, echo this, and then dollar curly braces, right? After that, name of the array, like for example, my array. After then, square brackets like this, and you can only provide a indexing number. Suppose what is the index number of Raju? So 0, 0, 1 and 2, right? So I will give 2 to print the Raju. I will just save it and try to run it, bash 04, and you can see we could able to print the Raju. For example, I have printed the third index as well, and save it and run again. So you will see the Raju and hey buddy. So for on the last index, you can see both the words, I mean like the total value is printed. So when we provide or store the multiple values within the array like this, for example, we are storing 4 values, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 values, right? So it will store and recognize based on the indexing number, and index number always start with the 0. So for the operating system or the scripting, it will see these values as 0, 1, 2 and 3 index. Okay, so just remember that first value will be called as a 0 index. That's it. So we have seen how to retrieve or print a specific value like this. However, if I want to print all the values present inside our array, how to do it? Okay, so let's cover that part as well. So echo all the values in my array is, okay, dollar curly braces, my array, that is the name of our array, square brackets, and inside it, instead of using a specific index number, just provide a star or asterisk like this, okay, which means all the values present inside our array. And I will just save it and print. So you can see all the values in my array is 1 and decimal number, Raju, hey buddy, and etc. Now let's cover how to print or retrieve a range of values. What I mean by range of values, let's go directly in our script. For example, I have here 5 values, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I have just, added this new value here. So I have 5 values. Now I need to print the range of value. For example, second, third and fourth. It's kind of a range, right? Like from second value to fourth value. So I can easily do, and I have another way to do it. For example, here my array and asterisk, okay, and after then colon, and I can provide the starting index number and then number of values after that to retrieve. Okay, let's try first and let's see how it works. Okay, echo value from index, and here I need the values from 10.5 to hey buddy. So what is the index number of 10.5 is 0 and 1. So values from index 1 to 3. So index number 1, index number 2, index number 3. So I need 3 values. Okay, these 3 values I need. Okay, so how to do it in a one line? Dollar curly braces, my array and square brackets, asterisk. Okay, after then we just need to provide a colon, then starting index number, which is R1, and after that again colon, and again number of values after the starting point. So starting point is this, okay, and how many values after this we need? So 1, 2 and 3, right? So we can just provide here 3, okay, like this, and this is done, and I will just save it and run it. Okay, so now you can see we got our expected result. So values from index 1 to 3 is 10.5, Raju and hey buddy. Okay, so this is how you can use and you can print the range of values as well. And here you can see one more example where I have only given colon and only 1. What it means, that starting index number is 1. If I'm not providing the ending or the number of values, so it will print all the values till end. Okay, that's it. So you can try it on your end. Now let's see how to update an array. Okay, so for example, we have already created our array. Now we need to update it. For example, if we need to add some more values in it, so how we can do it? So we can do it like this. So your name of the array plus equal to, and you can provide some more values in it. Let's try it on our end, 04arrays.sh. Okay, in the end, we can do like this. For example, we have already created my arrays, and suppose in this array I need to add few more values. So we can simply do my array plus equal to, and then round bracket, and inside bracket you can add some more values. For example, new, suppose 10, 20, Alex, and so on. And again, if we try to print all the values, echo. Okay, save it, and again let's try to run it. So now you can see in the end all the values in my array this is our old values, and now you can see our new values are also added in that array. As a part of updating our array, we can do few more things. For example, suppose you have added few values in your array, right? Now you have realized that you have entered a value incorrectly. For example, you wanted to insert a word Raja here, but you have used Raju, right? So if you want to correct given or already existing values, how you can do that? It's very simple. My array and square brackets, and then at what specific index you want to change. For example, Raju is at 0, 1, 2 second index. So I will say my array 2 equal to new value Raja. Okay, that's it. And again I can print the whole array again. Let's try to save it and run it again. Now you can see values in our array is Raja. Okay, so it has been changed to Raja now, so you can correct or modify the existing values as well. Okay, so one more thing you can do in this section. For example, you have these types of values and now you have to delete some values. How you can do that? So to delete, we have to use the unset. Okay, then my array, and you just need to provide the index number of a value you want to delete or unset. Suppose let's target the Raju again. Okay, and I will give the index number of 2. Okay, and just to verify again, I will print it again, save it and try to run it again. Okay, so now you can see in the last section the Raja or Raju, this value is not present because we have deleted or unset that value from our array. Now let's talk about how to insert or store the data in the form of key value pairs within our array. Yes, we do have a way and it is very useful for us. Okay, let's directly go to our terminal. Let's create a separate file for it. Key value .sh. Let's see the syntax. So declare hyphen capital A, and then you have to provide the name of your array. For example, my array. And then you can store the information or details in this way, like my array equal to, okay. Then you have to provide the values and key both. For example, here the name is a key and it is surrounded by the square brackets equal to the value, and you will follow the same pattern, right? For the multiple values. Okay, and all these key value pairs are separated by space, like we did see in our previous examples. So let's try to declare or create our array. Declare hyphen a and then my array. Okay, so like this. Then my array equal to, then we will provide the values here. For example, space. Okay, then key should be surrounded by the square brackets like this. Name equal to Paul, space, and then square brackets, again a separate key. For example, I gave a city equal to London, space, age equal to 30, and so on. Okay, so now our array has been created successfully and we have stored some information and details as well. Now how to retrieve the information, right? Retrieving the information by using this array is more useful and easy because you don't need to take care about the indexing number, or you don't need to count the index number in this case. For example, you need to print the name of a person. So it's very simple. $my array, and then inside the square brackets you just need to provide your key, for example name. That's it. And let's try to run this. Bash 05, and you can see we could print the Paul. Similarly, if we need to print the city of a person, we can simply provide the city or the age, right? And simply I provide the city and save it and run it. So you can see the city has been printed. So it's very useful to store the information. Readability is very good, and also accessing or retrieving the values using the key is more helpful and easy. Now let's see some string operations. So there are few examples we will going to cover one by one. Okay, so let's start with creating a separate file for it. 06 string ops.sh. Okay, and now I will create a sample variable, suppose myvar equal to, and let me give some random value. Hey buddy, how are you? Now let's have a look into some string operation we can perform on this value. Okay, so first is length. If I do like this, length of the value is dollar this and myvar. In front of or in the prefix, if you add the hash in front of the variable name like this, and let me save it, bash 06. So you can see the length of the value is 24. So it means there are 24 characters present in our value. So finding the length of the value could be useful. For example, if you are storing the telephone number, so you can find out the length and check if it is a valid phone number or not, right? So that is one example. Let's talk about the uppercase or lowercase. So for example, if you want to print the value in the all uppercase or lowercase, then you can easily do using like this. Okay, so let's try it. Uppercase is dollar myvar, and for the upper you can see 2 caret sign after your variable name. So for example like this, and similarly we can use for the lower case, and after your variable name just give 2 commas like this. Let me save it and try to run, and you can see for the uppercase it is like all the values, the overall value is in the uppercase, and for the lowercase, for example the hey, the starting the letter is also converted into the lowercase. If you want to replace a word with another word, how you can do it? So we have this kind of syntax, we can use it. Okay, let's try that as well. So let's say I need to replace the buddy with my own name. Okay, so how I can do this? Echo. Okay, so I can simply do this myvar. Okay, so first it will be your variable name, after then / what word you want to replace. So I want to replace the buddy with what value? I want to replace it with the Prashant. Okay, that's it, and print it. And let me try to run it, and you can see, hey Prashant, how are you? Okay, so it replaced the existing word with the new word. So this is also kind of a useful when you're printing or when you are especially dealing with the data or maybe log analysis and all. And let's talk about the slice. So let's try this as well. Okay, so for example, in our value, if I need to print only buddy, let's say only buddy, so how I can do this? So we can provide the starting index and all, and the number of characters after that. Okay, so let me show you an example. Dollar, and then myvar, our variable name, after then colon, right? Then I will provide the starting index number, right? So indexing is also present in these cases as well in the normal variable. So for example, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So fourth index is starting with buddy. Okay, so let's say I have starting with 4. Okay, and after that how many characters I need? Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5. Okay, like this, and I'll just save it and try to run, and you can see it only printed the body. Okay, so what we did here, our variable name, after then colon, after then the starting index of a character. Okay, so here we are not pointing a value, but we are pointing a character within our value. So here is our whole value, right? So we are pointing a specific character, that is a B for body, right? So we are starting counting the index from 0 onwards and like this. So from a given word or a big word, if you want to slice or get the specific part of that word, you can use this method as well. Now let's create a script which will interact with the user. So basically a script which will accept some input from the user. So let's create a new file for this. 07 user input.sh. So here what we want, that when we run this script, it will ask the user to enter the name, and then we will print the name of the user. Okay. For the user interaction, we do use the read command. Okay. And after that, whatever you want to print on the screen first, you can use the -p, okay, option. And within the quote, you can provide like a description of what you are expecting. For example, please enter your name like this. So we are giving a hint or description to the user that what we are expecting. So we are asking the user that please enter your name, and whatever the user enter into the terminal, we will store it into a variable called name. Okay, so here the name is a variable. Okay, and after that what we will do, echo, and we will print the name of the user, which is stored in the name variable. Okay, so what we will do, welcome and $name like this. So this is all about it. We will save it and run it, bash 07. And as soon as I hit enter, so your terminal is stuck on this point and it is still waiting for you to enter something. In this case, enter your name. So please enter your name. So for example, if I provide my name Prashant, so it prints welcome Prashant. So in this case, you can make and take the inputs from the user and use it in your script. For example, if I try again, Paul, so welcome Paul. Now let's see how we can perform some arithmetic operation or the mathematical operation in our shell script. So we will create a separate file for it, 08 arithmetic operations.sh like this. So for some mathematical operation, let me create two variables. Let's say x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. If I need to add both the numbers or subtract both the numbers, how will I do it? So let's create another variable for it. Let's give it a name like sum equal to $x plus $y. Okay, and echo sum of numbers are $sum, right? Like this. Okay, I'll save it and run it again. So you can see the sum of two numbers are 10 plus 20. But actually what we were expecting, that the answer should be 30. So how to do it? Okay, so you just need to do a small change before sum, I mean like the variable in which you are performing a arithmetic operation. You just need to add let. That's it. And let me save it and show you. Bash. Now you can see the sum of two numbers are 30. So on the slide also you can see the syntax like let, and after that you can perform any arithmetic operation like incrementing a number a plus plus, or let a equal to 5 into 10, which we have just seen. And there is one more way like this. You can cover the arithmetic operation inside the double round brackets like this, and you can easily perform these operations. Okay, so let's see the another examples as well. Suppose we need to multiply both these numbers and directly into the echo command, we can do that as well. So two numbers are, first you have to provide the dollar with double round brackets, and inside it you can perform any arithmetic operation for $x in multiply by $y. Simple. Okay, you can see the syntax properly, and let me try to run it. And you can see the multiplication of two numbers are 200. Let's now talk about using the conditional statements in our script. Okay, so suppose if you want to perform some task which is based on a condition. For example, if you have provided some condition, if that condition is true, then only you should perform this action. Otherwise, some more action, or maybe just ignore it. And one practical example we can see, like if a file is present in a directory, then delete it. Otherwise, just ignore it. Okay, but we will see how we can use these conditional statements, and for that we will use if else statement like this. So you can see the syntax here, it's very simple. Let's see an example of this. So we have created 8 scripts so far, so we will create if else dot sh. So here I will first ask from the user to enter the marks. Okay, so marks in, for example, any exam, right? And based on that given marks, we will provide the output, like if that person is passed or fail in exam, right? So kind of we are using the condition. So first use the read command -v, enter your total marks. Okay, like this, and we can store it in a variable like marks. Okay, now we will use the condition if, okay, it's space and square brackets like this, space. So we will use dollar marks, okay, space -gt. We will use gt. The full form of gt is greater than. Okay, so you can easily remember this, like for example, less than you will use lt, for equal you will use eq, and so on. So here we have used gt is greater than 40 marks, and again a space, right? After this, then enter. Then what action you want to perform? Okay, so I want to say, like if marks is greater than 40, I want to print something, right? So we can use the echo command. So inside the echo is you are passed. Okay, if not, else echo you are failed, like this. And to end this if statements, I need to provide the fi. Okay, and whatever the spaces and the formatting you are seeing here, it is happening automatically, and it is provided by the terminal. Okay, I will just save it and run it, bash 09. Okay, enter your total marks. For example, I will enter 50 marks. My total marks was 50. So it is saying you are passed. I will run it again, and now I will enter marks less than 40. For example, let's say 39, which is the less than 30. So it will say you are failed. Okay, one more thing I want to cover here. If your condition is met, we have only given one condition or one task here to just print it. You can provide the multiple tasks or commands also. For example, echo again, second line, like this. Okay, I will save it, run it, 50 marks, and you can see both the lines are printed successfully. Now let's see what other types of operators we can use. In our example, we have used greater than, which was -gt, right? Apart from that, we have also other type of operators like less than, lt, not equal, okay, less than or equal to -le, greater than equal to -ge, and equal -eq. Now we will see the concept of Elif, which is useful when you want to provide the multiple condition. So in our last example of if else, we only provided one condition and we perform some action, right? But in case if you want to provide the multiple condition, you can use the Elif. As you can see in the given example, we are asking a marks from the user, let's say, and we are performing the multiple conditions. Like if a marks is greater than 80, then we will print first division. If marks is greater than 60, then second division. Else in the last, if nothing, then it's failed. Okay, so let's see the example. vi 10 elif.sh. So I am taking the marks as a user input. Okay, now I will provide the condition. If space $marks greater than equal to 80, let's say 80, then echo A grade. We can provide the, after this we can provide the another condition using the Elif. Okay, but after the Elif you need to provide the condition like this: $marks greater than equal to, let's say 60, then echo B grade. Similarly, you can add the multiple condition for the C grade or D grade also, but I will just do else echo failed. Okay, and to end this you need to provide the fi, which is the reverse of if, and our program is, or our script is done. I will just simply save it and try running it. Bash 10 elif.sh. It is asking for the total marks. Let's say I provide 85 marks. So you can see the A grade. Okay, I will try again. I will now give 80 marks because we have given the greater than or equal to. So even I provide the 80 marks, it will show A grade. I will run it again. Now I will provide less than 80, maybe like 79. So you can see the B grade. Okay, and maybe if I provide 50, which is the lesser than 60, so you will see it is showing you a failed. So in this way, you can provide the multiple condition based upon your requirement. In the last section, we have covered how to deal with the multiple conditions using the Elif. However, we also have a case statement, which is more cleaner and efficient alternative of Elif, especially if you have the so many conditions, let's say 8, 10, 15 condition and so on. So in that case, it is better to use the case statement. Let's have a quick look into the syntax of using the case. So it is a start with the case and end with the, again, the reverse of the case like this. In the case, we have provided a variable, right, in which we can expect a range of values, say like different conditions. For example, here we do have a variable, and in this variable we can expect the multiple values like A, B, and which we are getting from the user, and depends upon the value in this variable we will perform the different action. For example, if the value of choice is A, okay, like this, then print the date. If the value of choice is B, then provide the list of the files and so on. Let's try this on our terminal. Case demo.sh bin bash. Okay, so in this way we have provided few options to the user so that they can provide a valid input to us. Okay, we will store that input in a variable using the read command, and we can store it in a variable, let's say choice case. So we are inspecting or checking the value of choice variable. So I will give like this, case choice in. Now for the different values in choice variable, let's say if a user provide A, right, A, okay, closing bracket, then what action you need to perform. Okay, so you can simply do like this, echo, or maybe you can print something, or in this case we will perform like this, date. Okay, and you need to provide 2 semicolon in order to finish this statement. Okay, and we can similarly we can provide the other options for condition as well. B. So for B, we are saying print the current working directory. We can do pwd. C, ls, and asterisk or star is the default condition. If none of these values are present, so simply you can echo to the user, you have provided the invalid input. And in order to close or end the case statement, just type the reverse of the case, that is the ESAC. As soon as you type, okay, so this is our condition or the case statement is closed or completed now. Let me save it and run it. Bash 11th case demo.sh. So now we have different option. Okay, A to print the current date, print current working directory, to list all the files in current directory, right? Let's say I provide A. So you can see the full date and time is printed on the screen. If I run it again and I provide the B, that is the present working directory. So it provides the path of the working directory right now. Okay, if I try C, then it prints or lists all the files present in the current directory, right? And for example, if I provide something like apart from these values, for example 1, so it's say you have provided the invalid input. So in this way you can handle the multiple conditions like this. One more thing I want to cover, that in this case we have only used or performed single action based on a value. For example, A is given, then we only performing the date. However, you can perform or provide the multiple options here. For example, you can give like this. Okay, for example date, and you can also provide some more command, for example host name and so on. Okay, so I have provided the 2 different commands and ending with the 2 semicolon. Okay, I will save it and again run it, and if I provide the A, so you can see that it provides the date and time and as well as the host name of the server as well. Let's now understand what are logical operators and how to use them in our shell scripting. We are going to cover 2 types of logical operators here. One is AND operator, which represent like this, and other is OR operator. Okay, first understand how we can use them. Suppose we need to perform or we need to take some action based on the multiple condition. For example, I have 2 conditions, and if both the conditions are true, then perform this action. So in these cases, we can use the logical operator. So first case is using the AND operator. For example, you can see here, we have provided one condition here, condition 1 and condition 2. And both the conditions are separated by AND operator like this, right? Okay. And whenever we are using the AND operator between 2 conditions, so it means if both conditions are true, then true, else false. Means if both the conditions are true, then only perform the action, else skip it. Okay. And if we talk about the OR operator like this, so condition 1 or condition 2. So it means if any of the condition is true, then it will be true. So either this condition true or this condition true. If any one condition is true, then perform the action. Let's see the live example and understand better. Okay, I have already created a separate file for this to show you an example. So it's a 12 logicalops.sh. Okay, and I have already prepared some code for you to understand quickly. So this is a very easy code. Okay, so I am asking from the user the age, right? And based on the single condition. Okay, so now you will see here in front of the if, okay, we are only providing one condition. What? If age is greater than 18, then you can work, else, sorry, you are not eligible for work. Okay. However, what is the problem in this situation? What if the age of the person is 90 years? Okay. But I don't want that as well. So I need some additional condition here that the age should be greater than 18. Also, the age should be less than 60 or 65 based on the like the policies and all, right? So what I can do in front of the if and this one condition, I can provide the another condition as well. Only I just need to do one thing. Okay, if age greater than 18. Okay, and after that I will, okay, so this is one condition, right? And I will provide the AND operator like this. And again, I can provide another condition like this, age less than equal to 60. Okay, makes sense, right? So in this way, we can provide or combine the multiple condition. Okay, so what we are saying, both the conditions should be true. A person who wants to work in this organization should be greater than 18 years. And also that person should be under 60 years. Okay, let me save it and try to run it. Bash 12 logical operator. Okay, what is your age? For example, if I gave 15, okay, sorry, you are not eligible for work. If I provide, let's say 25, so it is saying you can work. Okay, if I provide, suppose 61, which is more than 60, and it's again saying sorry, you are not eligible for work. And using the logical operators, you can provide n number of condition as well. For example, if you want to check here 3 condition or 4 condition, you can just separate it by the AND operator and provide the multiple conditions. Okay, and only you just need to take care that in case of the AND operator, all the conditions should be true or should be met. Or if you are using the OR operator, then only one of the conditions should be true. Let's also see an example for the OR operator. I have already created a file just to show you an example. So 13 logical or.sh, and you can see it's a very simple program. Enter your grade. So I am asking for a grade from the user. And what the condition I have provided here, if grade equal to A. Okay, because this time we are expecting something, a string or a character, so we have to provide it under the quotation marks. Okay, so grade equal to A, right? Or operator, grade equal to B. So or operator means any of the condition is true. If the grade is A or B, then you are passed with the good grades, else your grades are not in expected range. Okay, so any of the conditions should be true in case of the OR operator. So let's try to run it. Bash 13. Enter your grade. For example, I provide A. Okay, you are passed with the good grades. If I provide B, you're passed with the good grades. If I try again and provide any grade, for example C, then it says your grades are not in expected range. Now let's see a very interesting use case of the logical operators where we will going to combine AND and OR operator together. As you can see in the example, condition 1, AND operator condition 2, OR operator condition 3. Okay, and how it works, execute condition 2. Okay, so execute condition 2 only when 1 is true, else execute condition 3. Okay, so and instead of using the condition, we can perform some action as well. And how it makes our task so easy, let me show you quickly. I have already created this file, 14th ternary ops.sh. Okay, bin bash, and I am using a read command to enter your age. I'm asking a age from the user. Okay, I need to create a simple program where I will do or compare the age. If age is greater than 18, greater than or equal to 18, then I need to print adult, or if not, then I need to print the minor. Okay, this is a simple program and I know you can easily do it using the if else, but I will show you a very simple and shortcut way as well. Without using the if also, you can provide condition like this directly. Okay, there's a square brackets, and within that you will provide a condition. So here I am providing a condition dollar age, okay, greater than equal to 18. Okay, right. So this is, I have provided one condition. Okay, and after that I can provide the AND operator. Then I can provide a action as well instead of the condition, as I mentioned. So I will provide echo adult or echo minor. Okay, so as you can see, it is better approach as compared to the if else, and it is so crisp and clear and so neat and clean. And we are using a one condition and echo adult, and as we just saw the definition here, so it will execute the condition 2 only when condition 1 is true. Okay, so condition 1 is here is age greater than equal to 18. If this is true, then execute this or else this. Okay, let's try to run it and see. Okay, enter your age. For example, I provide 18, then adult. Okay, and as soon as I provide less than 18, suppose 17, it is saying minor. So you have somehow did the same thing as the if else, but in the same line like this. Now let's see what are loops and how we can use them in our shell scripting, starting with the for loops. So for loops in the shell scripting allows us to iterate over the sequence of values. So whenever we have the sequence of values or multiple values, so we can iterate over them, and which also help us to automate our repetitive task. So for example, a specific code we need to repeat multiple times, so we can use the for loop. So one of the example you can see on the screen and the syntax as well. For I, so I is like a variable, so you can use any variable of your choice. In, okay, and you can provide sequence of values. For example, I have provided 1 2 3 4 space separated sequence of values, right? And do and done. Okay, so what we need to do with these values, echo number is and $I am using the same variable I here. Let's do and see the practical example to understand better. Okay, so let me create 15 for loop dot sh. Let's start with a very basic example for I, or maybe you can use num as well. In, I can provide the sequence of number, like maybe like 10 20 30 40 50 and so on. So any sequence of number you can provide, or any number. Okay, then do. So what you need to do with these values, okay, so let me say like echo number is $num. Okay, and you can perform some mathematical operation as well, we have already covered. And to finish or close the for loop, you need to use done. Okay, that's it. And let me save it and run bash 15. So you will see the number is 10 20 30 40 50. So when we run this script, this for loop iterate over all the values which we provided one by one and printed on the screen. So this is kind of a helpful in some time. Okay, this was the one example we have tried with a numerical sequence of value. You can also perform this action, as I have mentioned here, with the string values as well, right? So for example, for name in, you can provide some name also, or maybe some file's name or any name. For example, I have provide Raju, Sham, Paul, Alex. Okay, and what I need to do with these name, I will say do echo name is $name and done, and save it, run it. So you can see name is Raju, Sham, Paul, Alex, and it printed all the values which we have provided. One more thing, you can provide a range also like this. For example, you want to print 100 values, right, from 1 to 100. So you can't simply provide 1 2 3 4 till 100. It's like the repetition. So you can provide this kind of range as well, like okay, in the curly braces 1 dot dot 20. So it will print the number from 1 to 20. Okay, I'll just continue here. For okay, I will take I in, and then you can provide a range, curly braces, and if suppose I need to print 1 to 10, I will just give 1 dot dot 10. Okay, do echo. Okay, I will simply print $I and done. Okay, so it will print the number from 1 to 10. So let's save it, run it. Okay, so here you can see it printed 1 to 10 numbers. Now let's see an example of using the for loop to iterate the values from an external file. Okay, so in the last example we were giving the sequence of the values or the numbers, okay, in front of the for loop, but in this case we will going to pick those values from an external file. So our shell scripting will be communicating or interacting with the external file. So this will be an interesting example. You can see the syntax here, but we will go directly and see the practical. So first we need to create a file in which we will provide the values. Example, let me create a file with name servers.txt. Suppose I will going to provide the list of the different servers. Okay, this is the file. I can provide the name like server1, prod, and so on. Okay, so these are the list of the server. I will just save it. Okay, and now what I want to create a shell script which will read the values from this text file and print or perform some action on it. So I will quickly create a script for this, for with file.sh. So first of all, I need the location of this file, that server.txt. So what you can do, just simply provide the pwd. So this file servers.txt is present under the root and script and then servers.txt. Okay, so let's continue editing. So I can provide a location like this, location, or maybe you can just give like this, file equal to, and you can provide the absolute or the full location of that file like root script server.txt, right? So this is our file and with the location. Okay, so what to do with this file? Okay, I will use the for loop, for server, okay, in you, and this is just a variable. Okay, so you can use any name here. Okay, so I need to first read this file and get the value from here. So what I will do, dollar, this round brackets, and inside it I will provide another command, cat. Cat command to read that file. Okay, and where is our file? Our file is present in this location. So I can provide the dollar and file. Okay, that's it. Do what I need to do, echo server is dollar server, done. That's it. So simple. I will just save it, run it, bash 16. So you can see we were able to read all the values from our file server.txt so simply. So best benefit of using such kind of approach is, for example, if you update the servers.txt file, suppose you have added a new server like server new. Okay, that's it. And this time you don't need to upgrade your script at all. You can just simply run your script and it will recognize the new server, this, right? So it is very helpful. Let's cover one more use case of using the for loop to iterate the values from an array. Okay, vi70 for with array.sh. Suppose I have created this type of array, okay, which is also a kind of a sequence of values, right? So we can easily use the for loop in this case to iterate all the values or perform some action on each value or just print it, right? And using this with array is also very simple. For, okay, let's say value in, and you only need to provide the name of an array. For example, $my array do echo value is $value and done. So here we need to make a small change. Okay, so for example, to get all the values as a list, so we need to cover it with the curly braces and square brackets and star to get all the values, right? And let's try to run it again. So you can see the value is 1, 10.5, Raju, hey, buddy, and wo. So in this way, you can also use for loop to iterate the values from an array. Now let's see how to use while loops in our scripting. So while loops give you more flexibility to repeat your code or repeat your loop as long as your given condition is true. So as you can see in the syntax, so while, and after that you provide a condition. So until this condition is true, your loop will be continuously running forever. So let me create a new file, 18whiledemo.sh. So first let me create two variables, count equal to 0, num equal to 10. And now I will create a while loop, while, and I can provide a condition. Okay, here $count less than or less than equal to $num, do done. Between this we can provide some action. For example, echo value of count is $count. So what we are doing here, so we have initialized our variable count with 0 and number with 10, and I am providing a condition that count less than equal to num, right? So 0 is of course less than 10, so this condition is true, right? So until this condition is true, the code within the do and done will be keep running always. For every step, if I do like this, some arithmetic operation, count plus plus. Okay, so what I am doing here, in each step, I am incrementing the value of count variable by 1. Okay, so plus plus means increment the value by 1. So initially it was 0. So on the first iteration, so value of count will be 1. Then next iteration 2, 3, 4 like this. And after a condition, when the count will become 11, right? So then count less than num, so that 11 is less than 10. So it will become false and our while loop will stop there. Okay, let me save it and try to run bash 18. So value of count is 0, and for each iteration our value of count variable was incrementing by 1, 2, 3, and as soon as it reached 10, the condition became false and our while loop stopped. We do have one more loop which is called as the until loop, and regarding the functionality, it will be keep running until the condition is false, right? So as name suggests, until, so as soon as, because we provide until and a condition, so as soon as this condition become true, it will be stopped. Okay, let's see an example. So I have created another file, 19 until demo.sh. Okay, let me create a program or a script like a counter, so which will count from 10, 9, 8 till 1. Okay, let's create a variable and initialize it with 10. Okay, so because we will be starting counting with 10, and what we can do here, until loop, okay, and condition counter equal 1. Okay, do done. We can provide our action part here, so we will be printing counter is $counter. Okay, so counter will be starting with 10 this time, and for each step or each repetition, what we will do, we can decrement or decrease the value of counter to 1 or by 1 actually. So what we can do, counter, and we can do minus minus this time in order to reduce the value by 1 in every step. That's it. Let me save it and run it, bash 19. So you can see our counter worked perfectly fine, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so as we wanted the 1 as well, so what we can do here, so if we want to print the 1 as well, so we can do equal to 0. So this time it will also print 1 as well, like this. Now let's see how to create and use the infinite loop in our scripting. So for example, if you want your script to keep running forever, like 24/7, I mean, it could be for anything like the monitoring or some automations or keep checking something or logs or anything, right? So in that case, you can use the infinite loop. Let's directly see an example. So I have creating the new file, okay, 20 infinite loop.sh. Okay, now I will create a infinite loop here. Simply I need to give while, and after that, as you know that we provide the condition, and as long as the condition is true, it will be keep running, right? So simply you can provide here true rather than any condition. Okay, so we are saying that condition is always true, and this true word is a predefined keyword. Do and your task and done. So let me try to print something, echo hello user. Okay, and after that I can provide some pause between every action. For example, sleep 2 seconds. So what is I'm saying, for after every printing, okay, pause or sleep for 2 seconds. Bash 20. So as you can see, this time your script will be keep running always as long as you terminate it, and it is keep printing the hello user in the gap of 2 seconds. If you want to terminate, you can just simply press Ctrl C. Let's see one more example of using the while loop. So instead of this normal printing, the code we have seen or used in the case statement, I will just paste here like this. These options will be keep running on your terminal. Okay, let me try save it and run it again. So you can see it is asking for the option. Let me try some option, and it is keep asking for the inputs, right? Like this. Let's talk about using the functions in our shell script. So what a function? Block of code which performs some task and run when it is called. Can be reused many times in our program, which lessen our lines of code, and we can also pass arguments to our method. So rather than explaining theoretically, let's try practically. I have created a separate file for this 21 function demo.sh. Okay, inside this function, what I'm doing, I need to print this kind of pattern, or we can say a welcome node. Okay, and I need to print these line 3 times or 4 times in a script. Okay, so this is what I want. Let me run it like this. Okay, so I want to print the pattern like this, like multiple times. But the problem with this code, as you can see, so we are repeating the same code again and again. In order to avoid this, we can use the function. Okay, I have removed all the lines, and now I will create my function. So to create the function, you can see the syntax. It's very simple. Function and then name of your function, and within curly braces, you can provide your action. So let's perform it. Function and the name of the function, for example, welcome node. Okay, and after that, curly braces like this. And within this curly braces, you can provide the whatever the action you want to perform. So the lines which were repeating last times again and again, so we have used those lines inside our function like this, and we have successfully created our function like this. Okay, so once we created the function, and if we run it, bash 21, so it will not do anything until we call our function. So we need to call our function whenever we want the code inside the function to be executed. Okay, let's try. So for the calling the function, we will do welcome node. That's it. So only you just need to write the name of the function. Let's try bash 21, and you can see this welcome node has been printed. My requirement was I wanted to print these line or these welcome note like 4 times. Now our task is so easy. We can simply call this function 4 times now. Welcome note like this multiple times, and as soon as I run this, you can see we have achieved our desired result with the lesson code. And for making the function, there are 2 ways. So first way is function and the name of the function like this, which we have used and seen. And the other way is only you can provide the function name with parentheses like this. Okay. So that is like a shortcut. Okay, I will just remove the function, and after the welcome node, I will just provide the round bracket like this, and still it will work in the same manner, right? Successfully it's working. Now let's understand what is argument passing in functions. Okay, so let's go directly into the practical example. I have created another file for this to demonstrate this. Okay, so for example, after running this script, I want to ask the user to enter his name, okay, and then print welcome and the name of the user. Okay, read -p, enter your name, okay, and we will store it into the name variable. Okay, while calling the function, after this I can provide a value. For example, I can provide a static value as well, like this, or here we are storing the name in the name variable, so I can pass the name variable as well, name. Okay, but inside this function, how to use this value? Okay, so instead of user, we will use $and 1. Okay, and let's try to run it and see the result. Bash 22. Okay, enter your name. For example, if I provide Paul, so welcome Paul. Okay, if I run it again and I provide Alex, so welcome Alex. Okay, now let's see why we use the $1. So while calling the function, when we are providing the arguments in front of that, if I provide some more values like the age of the user or maybe some city and so on, so these values will become the $2 and $3. If I need to use these thing, I can also use like echo city is $3, because this is the third value, right? That's it. And if I enter this bash Alex, so you can see welcome Alex, city is London. Okay, so this is how you can pass an argument and also use that in our code inside your function. Now let's talk about argument passing directly in the scripting. Okay, so in the last section we have seen how to pass arguments in the function, but this time we will see how we can pass arguments directly in the shell scripting while running our script. Okay, so here is an example. So while running a script, for example myscript.sh, you can provide some values which we called it as an argument, and we can access it inside our script. Let's see an example directly here. So I have created a separate file here, 23args.sh. If I run this script like this, and while running a script, if I provide few values here, for example Paul, or maybe some name, or maybe some file name, etc., so it should be accessible inside the script. Yes, it is doable. And how to do it? I have provided 2 values with the script, right? So how to access these arguments? Echo first argument is $1, echo second argument is $2. Okay, so in this way you can access as many arguments you provide. Let me save it and again try to run this, my script name, and then I have provided 2 names here, and as soon as I hit enter, so you can see first argument is Paul and second argument is Alex, right? So we could easily access these values inside our script. Apart from accessing the specific value, we can also find the number of arguments provided and also display all the arguments like this. So for the number of arguments we use $hash, and for display all the arguments we use $@. Okay, let me edit it. Number of arguments are dollar and hash. Hash. All the arguments are, you will use dollar and @ like this. Okay, let me run it quickly. Okay, so bash, and after this your script name, and then you can provide n number of values here. For example, server 1, server 2, let's server 3, and so on. Okay, so you can see the first argument is server 1, second argument is server 2. Number of arguments are 3 because we have provided the 3 values here, and all the arguments are the server 1, server 2, and server 3. So in this way we can provide the arguments with the script name, and we can access it also. So if you are thinking where we can use this feature, so if you have ever noticed how we use some basic commands in Linux, example copy command, right? And after the copy command, what you provide the name of the file like this, right? So basically you are also, so you can assume like this is your kind of a script, and you are passing in arguments to that script. So as we are providing the number of arguments like this, okay, and it can be vary, like for example if I provide 3 arguments or maybe 5 arguments or maybe 10 arguments, right? So in order to access all the values one by one, or maybe if you want to perform some operation on each value, it is easy to use the for loop to access or to iterate through these values, because if you notice these values are kind of a sequence of values. Okay, simply I will use the for loop. Okay, for args in, and to access all the value we can use $@. Okay, do done, and we can perform some action on each value like hello argument is $args like this, and I will just save it and I will run it again, server 1, server 2, server 3, and I will add server 4 as well. Let me run it. So you can see using the for loop we could able to access each value separately. Okay, and we can also perform some action on each value. For example, if you want to remove or delete all the files, you can just get the name of the files here and just rm, using the rm command you can delete these files as well. Okay, let me cover a negative use case which could be useful for you when you are creating a real life script. Okay, taking example of this script as only, right? We were providing some arguments while running this script. If a user first time running this script, right, and the user doesn't know providing the arguments, right? So how he will going to use this script? For example, if I don't provide any arguments, okay, so this script will simply do nothing, right? Because we are writing so many codes inside our script using the argument. However, the user is not providing any argument, but we should, as we are creating the script, so it's our responsibility to handle such situation. So how we can do it? To handle such situation, we can simply add a if condition on the top of the script. If condition. Okay, what condition we will apply? So we have already seen there is a way to find the number of arguments using the $hash, right? So we can easily know using the $hash if user provided any arguments or not, right? So we can use here $hash. Okay, if I say $hash, the number of arguments equal to 0, that means there is no argument. What should we do? Then we can provide some output to the user. Okay, kindly provide at least one argument so that user will know that what to provide, and at least this script is expecting a argument, right? And closing this condition, and after printing this warning or maybe this message to the user, I simply want to exit or stop my script, right? Because I don't want the remaining code to be executed because there is no argument, right? So I will simply do exit, and I can also provide a status code, the exit status code. We will cover it later, what is the meaning of these codes. Okay, so exit and 1, that's it. So 1 is like this unsuccessful. Okay, I will just simply save it, and while running, if you notice, I am not providing any argument. As soon as I click enter, you will see kindly provide at least one argument, and you have noticed that none of the code below our if condition has been executed, right? And if I even provide a single argument like server 1, so yes, all the code will be executed. So in this way, you can handle such negative use cases as well. So let's go through some useful concepts in shell scripting. First is break and continue. Okay, so these are the predefined keywords and where we can use this. We can use these keywords break and continue to control the iteration of our loop. For example, using the break to stop the loop on the given condition, right? And for the continue, to stop the current iteration of loop and start the next iteration. I'm just going to show you an example in order to save time. Okay, I've already created a file 24break.sh. Okay, let's go through it quickly. Okay, so in this script, I have created a variable num and assigned a value equal to 6. Okay, then I am using a for loop and which will be iterate through the values 1 to 9, right? And inside the for loop, I am using another condition using a if statement and giving a condition if num, which is 6, right? If num is equal to $i, that is the I, okay, then echo, which will print the number is found, and simply I have added a break here. So for loop will start iterating from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and as soon as it found the 6, so we are using a condition using a break, so it will stop the loop on this point. So it will not go through the remaining values, and this is basically the use of the break keyword. Okay, let me try to run it. Bash 24 break.sh. Okay, so as you can see, number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as soon as 6 is found, it printed and stopped the loop at that point. Let's also cover what is the use of then continue keyword. Let me edit the same script. For example, instead of using the break, if I use continue here, okay, so it is also a predefined keyword, so you can see in yellow color right now. When we use continue, it will stop the current iteration of loop and start the next iteration. Okay, so in every iteration, what is happening? It is first checking the condition, okay, and then printing the number, right? So what will happen if the number is 6, right? So it will print the number is found, okay, and then continue. So here continue means it will start the loop again from this point only. So it will not go through these steps or the remaining steps from here. Bash 24.sh. Okay, so as you can see, number is 1, number is 2, 3, 4, 5, and as soon as 6 is found, it printed the 6 is found, but it didn't print number is 6 because the for loop started again. Next is sleep command to create a delay between two executions. So in our script, if at any point, if I add sleep command, example sleep, let's say 2 seconds, okay, so in each iteration or in each step, it will take the pause of 2 seconds. Okay, let's try bash 24. So as you can see, each iteration and 2 second pause and so on. So next is exit command which is used to stop the script at a given point or based on the given condition, right? And we have seen this in our argument passing script. Okay, let me show you again, where we have used a condition that if the given argument is 0, then simply exit with status code 1. Okay, so it will just stop our script or just terminate our script at this point. Next is exit status, which is defined by dollar and question mark sign. So what is the use of this? It gives you the status of the previous command if that was successful or not. Let's see an example of using the exit status. Okay, suppose on the terminal, if you execute any command, for example, pwd, right? You have executed this command, you got some output. Okay, and if you want to check if that or your previous command was successful or not, you can simply do echo dollar and question mark. So dollar question mark is exit status of the previous command. So if I hit enter, you will see 0. 0 means successful. Okay, so by using this, you can easily identify if your previous command was successful or not. Okay, suppose I try to remove abc.txt file. Okay, so you can see cannot remove. Okay, however, if I just need to check if my previous command was successful or not, I can simply do echo and dollar question mark. This time you will see the exit code or exit status as 1, which means unsuccessful. Let's create our first shell scripting project, which will going to check the connectivity from the external side. Okay, before starting, let's understand first how we can do this normally, right? So to check the connectivity with an external website, right? So we can use the ping command. Okay, for example, ping -c, let's see 1, and we can provide the host name of the website we need to check the connectivity with. Example, www.google.com, right? So, and in the result of the ping command, if you see 0% packet loss, it means the connection is successful. However, we will not rely on this information to take our decision. Okay, we have just covered the concept of exit status, right? Where we can find the status of our previous command if it was successful or not. Okay, here we can clearly see the command was successful, right? Because it was successfully connected and 0% packet loss. Let's check using the exit status, echo dollar question mark. So you can see here 0 means it was successful. And now if I try some random website which is not exist, localhost.com, right? So now you can see this time there was a 100% packet loss. But again, we will rely on the exit status of the previous command, which is echo dollar question mark. And you can see this time it's 1, right? So we now understood in what situation we can use this. So we can easily create the shell scripting out of it. So I have already created this file 25 connectivitycheck.sh. Okay. And I will ask the user which site you want to check. Okay. And I will store it in a variable named site. Okay. To check the connectivity, we can use the ping command -c1, and we will use the site provided by the user, $site, right? Okay. After performing the ping command, it will definitely generate some exit status, right? So now to take the decision based on a given condition, we can use the if. Okay, and we can provide the condition here. So for the condition, we will use dollar question mark, right? Exit status if equal 0. So in case of 0, what connection was successful, right? Else echo failed to connect, fi. So very straightforward. I will just save it and run it, bash 25. Okay, So which site you want to check? For example, I provide www.google.com. So it says connection was successful. Okay, yes, and that was perfectly fine. This time let me provide some random website like localhost.com. Okay, and this time it printed failed to connect, and which was expected and perfect. Let's have a look into some more useful concept or keywords which could be helpful when you are working or dealing with the path or the location of files and directory. So first is base name. It strips the directory info and only give the file name. Okay, so I will only show you the examples on the terminal, but not in the script, but you can use it in the script as well. For example, if I use base name and if I give or provide the absolute path of a file, for example, root script 01 like this. Okay, as soon as I enter, so it will only print the file name and strip the directory name. Second is directory name. It strips the file names and gives you the directory path. Okay, you have this path, okay, from somewhere on this machine. Now you just need to find out or take out the directory in which this file is present. So what you can do, directory name, and then you can provide the absolute path like root script this, and it will provide you the directory in which this file is present. And the last is real path. It gives you the full path for a file. Okay, so for example, we are performing some action in this location, right? We only know the name of the file, okay, but I want to find out the absolute path of that file. We can use real path and give the file name of the file in this present location, for example like this, and as soon as I hit enter, it will give you the absolute path of this file. Now let's see how to check the existence of a file or a directory within our shell script. So what is the use and purpose of this? Let me show you first. If you remember this script, and in this script we have used a file and a location of the file, right? However, in order to handle the negative use case, for example, if this file is not present on the location or if this path is invalid, right, we should not execute the remaining code. In order to handle this situation, we can use this approach to first check if the file or the given directory is present or not. And the syntax is really very simple. If and okay, and within the condition, we can just simply provide the -d to check for the directory and provide the path, okay, and also for the files -f and then the name of the file or the path of the file. So we have created a variable with a path of the file. After this, we should ideally check the condition $file, okay, and we will only do -f. So we are just checking if this file, the location is this, is present or not, then fi, okay, and but here we should use this if file not exist. So we have to use this bang sign in front of the -f. So let's use it, bang sign and -f. So we are saying if the file is not present, we will say echo file is not found, let's say exit 1 with status 1, because we don't want, if the file is not present, so we don't want to run the remaining code, right? Bash 60. Okay, it runs successfully. Okay, and this time let me change the name of the file. Let's see. Okay, I have just misspelled the file name here and try to run it again. You can see the file is not found. Let's talk about the bash variables. So these are the special variables which are predefined and are available in the bash okay, and which we can use it directly. So we don't need to define it and we can use it directly, and which is very useful for us in many cases. So we will only cover here two bash variables. First is random. So the use of this random variable is a random integer between 0 and 32,767 is generated. So any number between this range will be generated is like randomly. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I will try it first on my terminal directly. Okay, echo, and as it is a variable, so we know we don't need to use $random like this. And if you will notice, every time I run this command, it is generating a totally random number. For example, if you are creating a user and you need to create or generate a random password, so you can use this in the combination with other patterns as well. Let's create a dice program using the random bash variable. Okay, I will create a separate file for this, 26 dice game.sh. okay, so regarding the functionality of this dice program is basically generating a random number between 1 and 6. Although we have seen the random bash variable, but it is not generating a number between 1 and 6. For that, we need to perform some basic mathematics on that generated number. For that, we can do num equal to $. And as we are going to perform some arithmetic operation, we can provide like this. Okay. And inside this, first we need to generate the random variable. So we will do $random. Okay. So it generated some code, right? Okay. And if we need to generate between 1 and 6, we need to provide the modulus 6, okay, and plus 1 like this. Okay, I will create some space and I will just print the number is $num. Okay, simple. Let me run it and show you to you. 26. You will see the number is 1, number is 2, 5, 5, 2, 4, 1, 5. Okay, let me check. Okay, we got the 6 as well. So as you can see, our dice program or dice small game is working fine, and it is successfully able to generate the numbers between 1 and 6. Another bash variables we do have is UID, which is the user ID. Okay, so user ID of the user logged in. Okay, so suppose I have logged in as the root user and I need to check what is my user ID. Okay, so I can do echo $UID because it is a bash variable. I am using the $, and you can see the user ID of root user is 0. If I logged in as another user, for example SU, like now you can see I have logged in as a Paul user. Now if I try echo $UID, so my user ID is 1000. So basically the UID is like the unique identifier for a particular user. Okay, I will exit and go to the root directory again. So this is very useful when you are creating a script somehow, right? And you want that script should be and can only be executed by the root user, right? So what you can do, this bash variable. I also want to tell you that the UID of root user is always 0. So you can easily give and provide the condition in your script in the starting only, that if the UID is 0, then only execute this, otherwise exit the script. Let's now understand what is redirection and how we can use it in our scripting. Let's say I execute pwd command. Okay, the output of this command is printed on this terminal. Okay, however, if you don't want to print this on the terminal, but instead you want to write the output of this command in a file, so you can use the redirection in this case. So you can simply do the command or the action you're performing. After that, you just need to redirect using this symbol, and you can provide the name of the file. Let's say sample.txt. Okay, that's it. So this time there was no output on the terminal. Okay, but if I try to read this file cat sample.txt, so you can see it was the output of the pwd command was written in this file, but there was two types of symbol. So what is the difference? Okay, so I have just performed pwd and sample.txt. If I perform one more time, suppose host name and again redirect into the sample.txt like this, and now if I read sample.txt, you can see only one output, that is the latest one. So kind of it overwrite the given file if you use the single greater than sign. Okay, now if I use the double or twice the greater than sign and again overwrite into the sample.txt, this like this, and cat sample.txt, so you can see now the previous output was also stored. So it means this sign is used to append the file with the output of a command. Let me run the connectivity check.sh script we have created. Which site you want to check? Suppose I provide google.com. Here you can see the output of our action is printed on the terminal, right? And however, if we don't want to print the action or the output of all the commands on the terminal, but we only need to see this thing like the result, if the connection was successful or not. So we can simply do it using the redirection now, right? We just need to do, okay, so we are using the ping command like we are performing some action on this stage, right? Simply redirect the output of this to our file. Let's say connectivity.log. It's kind of a log file, or you can append also if you don't want to overwrite again like this. And let me save it, run it again, google.com. So this time you can see this connection was successful. And now also let's check our connectivity.log file, connectivity.log. So you can see the output of our action, which was the ping command like this. Now let's see the concept of redirection to the dev null. If I don't want to print the output of the command on terminal, and also I don't want to write it in a file, just I don't want that output, right? So what I can do, I can redirect the output into the dev null. So that is one kind of an approach to handle this. Okay, first let me remove the or delete the connectivity.log file. Okay, now I will edit my script and I will simply do, okay, redirect this to dev null. That's it. But before, and for this, before the greater than sign, you just need to provide the end sign greater than and dev null like this. Okay, and I will save it, run it. So you can see the connection was successful. So the output was neither printed on the terminal nor it was written in any file. Now let's see how we can run our script in the background. And for that we will going to use the nohup command, and after that we can provide the script name and end sign. Before running that, let me show you the problems while running the script on the foreground or directly on the terminal. Okay, for that I have created a sample script, sample.sh, and it is very simple for loop in the range of 1 to 20, and for each iteration I am printing hello on the terminal and $i, that is the numeric value, redirecting to a sample.txt file, and in the each iteration I have provided the pause of 2 seconds. So let me run it first. Bash sample.sh. Okay, so first problem, you can see that until this script is finished, I can't use the terminal anymore, right? I can't perform any other actions. And second thing is, if I close this terminal, what will happen, right? If I close this terminal, and this is my another terminal, and let me check cats sample.txt file. So you can see it printed from 1 to 15, and after that, as soon as I closed the terminal, it stopped the script. And this is the proof in the sample.txt file that the numbers were printed from 1 to 15. Ideally, it was supposed to print till 20, but after the 14, we have closed the terminal and our script stopped. For example, if you have created any script which should run 24/7, so ideally you should run this script in the background, right? Makes sense? Okay, I will first remove the sample.txt file first. Okay, I have opened another terminal and connected with the same server. You can see the location, cd root script. Okay, now I will run that script again, but this time we will going to use or run it using the nohup. I will first give the permission chmod. I will give just all the permission for now, sample.sh. Okay, now I will do nohup./sample.sh. Okay, and simple end sign. Okay, that's it. Now it created the background process with this number and our script is still running. Let me close this terminal. Okay, and this is our another terminal, and let me verify from the sample.txt file this time. So you can see this time our number till 20 was printed. So it shows and verified that our script was running even we closed the terminal. Now let's see how to automate our script so that it will run automatically at a given time. For that, we will cover two concepts. One is using the add command and other by using the Crontab. So first, let's cover the using the add command. Okay, to perform this, I have created another script, create_file.sh. Let me show you the content of this file. Very simple. Okay, echo and some string. This is from script and some $0, which will print the name of the script. That's it. And I am redirecting this into the automate.txt file. So I can also show you that currently automate.txt file is not present right now. Let me check the current time. So right now it is 3:38. Okay, so let me schedule it for 3:40. Okay, so after 1 minute around, simply I can do at, so we can directly provide the time. I'm just saying 03 and 40 like this, and of course the PMS also. After this, you can provide the script bash and the path of the script, root script and create file.sh. Okay, that's it. And as soon as I complete, Ctrl+D, that's it. And you can see the job at 15:40. What is the time now? It's 3:39. Okay, so now it's 3:40 already. Let me check if our script was run successful or not. So how we can verify it? Let me do the lsltr. So you can see an automate.txt file was created at the same time, 15:40, that is the 3:40 p.m. right? And let me also show the content of that file, automate.txt. So see, this is from a script, root script create file.sh. With the add command, I can provide some more details as well, like timing. And with the timing, I can provide the date also. I don't want to run it today, but I want it to run on the future date. So I can provide the date and year as well. Okay, then again, it is asking for the command or the script you want to run. Let me simply provide any command like hello. That's it. And it is done. So I will just press Ctrl+D. and you can see the job has been created for November 10, 1430. Okay, and how to check these existing jobs? So for that you can use AT and Q. So you can see this one job here. And also, for example, if you have created a job and by mistake and you want to remove it, you can simply do ATRM to remove it, and just simply provide this ID in front of this job. So let me do it 10, and again I do ATQ, then there is no job present. Okay, so we have just seen how to use the add command for scheduling and automate our scripting, right? But this is only useful when you want to run it once or only one time, right? In case you want to repeat, for example, if you want to run your script every Sunday or every day or every month on a given time, right? So in that case, add command will not help. For that, we need to use the cron jobs, right? And for that particular cron jobs, we will use the crontab command. So you just need to remember two commands, that is the crontab -l to list all the existing cron jobs, and the other is crontab -e, which is used to edit the or add the new jobs. So let's try crontab -l. So we can see no crontab for root user. So for a specific user, there is no jobs already existing. In order to add one, we can use the crontab -e. But what need to be added? Let's understand that first. So we need to provide our job in this format. As you can see, the 5 star in the beginning, and after that usually our normal commands or the path of the script. For example, if you can see, we are just changing the directory and we are running a script. And what is the meaning of each star? Let's understand from this diagram. On Google, you can simply find Crontab Guru, and you can find this website. You can go inside it, and you can also see this 5 stars here, right? And for example, if I change it to star and star, so you can also see the meaning of these kind of jobs or these kind of pattern. For example, if I am giving the 5 stars, it means at every minute, right? For example, if I want to run it on every day but at 12 o'clock, so I will do it like this, 12 and 00. So at 12 o'clock, like every day, as soon as you select here, you can also see what is the meaning of this star and what value you can provide. For example, January to December you can also provide. Only perform this in the month of December, like this. So at 12 o'clock in December, so in December every day at 12 o'clock this script will run. So you can experiment here, you can change the value and see your desired result here, and you can just copy this pattern into the file. So now let's create our cron job, and for that we will going to run this script, create file.sh. okay, so simply we will do cron tab -e to edit. Okay, this is like a normal file, and to edit it just simply press I and then you can start editing. So first you have to provide the 5 star, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, after that the command and the action you want to perform. For example, cd root script. After that end bash create file.sh. So I'm saying after this go to this directory, okay, and run this script. Okay, let me just save it, and after saving it you can see the cron tab installing the new cron tab. So what was the meaning of 5 star? Like run every minute. So how we can verify if every minute our script is running? By confirming the modified time of the automate.txt file, which was this one. Okay, so we can simply do ls l automate.txt. Okay, so you can see 1647, and let's see the time, 4:47, that is the 16:47, right? So that means our automate.txt file is updating every minute. Okay, so let's wait for the 48. So it is 48 now. Okay, if I check automate.txt, so you can see 16:48. So our file is updating every minute, right? But we can verify by giving a specific time now. Okay, for example, right now time is 4:48. I can provide the time like 16:49, let's say, Crontab -e. So I just need to provide the time here, 16:49. Okay, so installing the new Crontab, and now let's wait for the 16:49, that is the 4:49 p.m. Okay, still 54. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Okay, let's check now. So it's already 4:49, that is the 16:49, and we have provided the schedule for 16:49. And let's check ls-l automate.txt. So you can see at the given time 16:49, our script was run and this file was successfully updated.